Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well this morning. We are going to be talking about something that is vital to understanding the darkness of this world. Okay. Hence why I have coined this sequence or this pathway, this energetic pathway is the pathway of darkness. When you understand this pathway, you can understand all evil behavior as it relates to human beings. Okay? Now, this is, of course, mentioned in my book, Demitra's Number System, Numerology Perfected. And we are specifically going to be talking about the pathway that is 257 today. Now, I have done a video on this before, but I figure we can talk about it again because I've never talked about it on live, and I'm hoping to introduce some more people to this concept today. Now, I do have notes here because I want to give you guys specifics, okay? So, 257, when we talk about 257, we are talking about at a base level, relational anxiety. Hi, BG, how are you doing this morning? How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. We are talking about the pathway of darkness today, 257, which essentially... Dante, Kevin, hello, hello. Zach, welcome you guys. Welcome to the live. So we are going to be talking about something very important. Numerology sequence 257. 257 is a numerology sequence that describes why people behave badly, without exception. Okay, so let's get into it. When you understand what 2 means in numerology, 2 is the relational number. It's the relationship number. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. It is the relational number. It is the number of relationships. It is the number of the inner child. The inner child is the part of the soul, the part of the psyche that holds that light. It is the purest part of you. Unfortunately, it is also the part of you that gets harmed by trauma. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the live. Thank you so much for joining today. If you are interested in mastering your mind, if you are interested in ascending to enlightenment, this is information that you must know, okay? This is the root. Before doing shadow work, if you don't understand this concept, I don't know what you're doing, right? Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. The inner child is that purest part of you, and it is the part of you that gets hurt by trauma, by other people. Okay, every time that you get hurt and you feel like you've lost some of your energy and you feel like your eyes aren't sparkling the same, that is a perfect example of that light being dimmed by trauma. Okay, so every time we experience an inner child wound, those are some of the symptoms. That is an effect there. It is just losing that sparkle because 2, the inner child is, my loves, the sparkle. Okay, I hope this is making sense. Welcome, Slim Daddy. Welcome. Stanley, Victor, Possible, Wayne. Thank you for joining the live today. This is very important. This is self-mastery. This is mastery of the psyche. This is the basis of shadow work. And this is necessary if you wish to attain your own state of enlightenment. Know thyself, right? So what does that mean exactly? It means every part of your mind, every part of your soul. And the basis of that soul is, in fact, the inner child. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you guys some specifics today as far as how these wounds, what they are, what the wounds are, and how they can alter behavior, how they are stored in the ego, which is the second number in this sequence, 5. The ego is the part of the soul. It's the memory chip of the soul. It's the part of the soul that carries. So 2, the inner child, is what is harmed. 5, the ego, is what remembers it all. I remember that, right? And unfortunately, because the ego is that trigger point in the subconscious mind, what happens? It can prevent you from experiencing beneficial situations out of fear of repeating a harmful one, okay? So it's very important to understand these things and how they contribute to differing our behavior. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here this morning. My name is Demitra Douglas. I'm a master numerologist, published author. I'm also an inner work specialist, as well as an end-of-life doula for animals and their families. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. So let's get back to the conversation. Now, when doing this sort of work, I need to heavily urge you all to be willing to sit honestly with your emotions and your triggers. That can be very uncomfortable. Why? Because we don't like to admit, all the time that things have hurt us. We don't always like to admit, you know what I mean? Certain things. Invulnerability is very common among human beings because we're taught, especially for men, you guys are taught that it's not sexy to be in touch with your emotions, but women also. Women are becoming increasingly masculine in their nature because of those things. Thank you. Be yourself. Thank you. Yeah, it's true, right? What state are you in? I'm in California. Look, Too Solid joined the live. I love that. We're talking about the number 2 specifically today, mostly. We're talking about 5 and 7 also. Thank you for showing me the love. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. And I really want you guys to listen to this because it's so important. It's so important. I need you to sit with these feelings. I need you to sit with these triggers. Be honest about what you've been through. Be honest about how these things have impacted you. Because if you're someone that's sitting here like, why am I always yearning for someone that's hurt me so badly? Why am I always thinking about them obsessively? It's ego. It's 257, right? You've been rejected. You've been abandoned. You feel inadequate. The ego is attempting to rectify an energetic imbalance. It has nothing to do with you and what's good for you. It is your ego saying they stole some of my energy. I want it back, right? So we'll try and rectify it through things like positioning, right? Positioning, an example of that would be, let's say you work with them. Let's say you work with them, right? You never go to the break room, but they do. Right? And you're not together anymore and you want to get your lick back, right? And you dress especially nice that day, you smell really good, and you just go position yourself so they can see what they're missing. That is a perfect example of the ego attempting to rectify energetic imbalance. Hello, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you. A woman always loves to hear that she's beautiful. I appreciate that, right? Because even I have moments where I am feeling quite insecure, right? But we'll get into that. It's a wound, right? Based on my experiences. So as long as I'm aware of that, my book is called Demitra's Number System, Numerology Perfected. And the sequence we are talking about is a sequence that I've created, called 257. Years of paying very close attention to human behavior in every situation, my own as well as others, in real life as well as on television and in movies. 257 is that sequence. It is what releases the shadow. It's what can allow dark forces into our energetic field to take over. And it's all the same concept. At the base level, it is an inner child wound. Coming second to that is anxiety, relational anxiety. You know how it feels when your mind starts reeling and you start to feel anxious, whether you're thinking about something that's been done to you in the past, right? Or whether something's happening in the moment, okay? Does it feel good to be cheated on? No, that is an example of 257. And what is something that people typically do in response to that? Darkness ensues, whether it's cheating back, whether it is just some other sort of toxic, manipulative response, right? These are these examples. These are these examples, okay? And so I'm going to really be getting into this with you. There is a second pathway of darkness that I will talk about another day, okay? But this is darkness that ensues. And by darkness, I mean oppositional, harmful, toxic behavior from you to another. But it can also be allowing yourself to sabotage yourself, right? Using substances, drinking too much, right? In an attempt to alleviate the anxiety caused right in the middle of that 257 sequence, okay? Let's say you get cheated on and you're like, I need a drink. That is an example of 257. Your soul is trying to rectify itself. And then when you drink, what might happen after that, right? You might start thinking of ways to, right, manipulate, lie to get them back. Like this is an example of that, my loves. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Yes, so we are talking about 257 today. So I'm going to actually get into some of the specifics now. So it's not as lofty. So you guys actually have some examples that you are probably going to be able to relate to. Okay. So when it comes to inner child wounds, this is also particularly important when it comes to manifesting. Why? If you're someone that finds yourself constantly repeating harmful relationships, why am I always attracting people that do this, this, and this all the time to me, right? That is an example of this also. And it is because your inner child wound is serving as a magnet. It's serving as a magnet for these situations because the ego is looking for an opportunity to correct itself, right? It's looking for an opportunity for you to react differently, for you to decide differently, right? This is where the work concept comes in, inner work. Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. It's important to understand these things, okay? It does take work. And a lot of these inner child wounds do occur for the first time in childhood, okay? So I am going to say that, right? For example, abandonment and rejection. Did you have an absent parent? Were they just not home enough? Did they not show enough interest in your, in you, right? And so you felt inadequate. Do you see how all of these concepts overlap? And then what happens? You continue manifesting relationships in your life that repeat the same patterns. Okay. So when we talk about the first inner child wound that I have written down here, I'm talking about a wound of powerlessness. What can that look like? A wound of powerlessness, right, typically occurs in childhood when things were happening around you that you weren't able to stop, that you felt you didn't have any control over. Okay? So what can this do to your behavior? There's two sides to the coin. It can make you incredibly helpless or super controlling, right? Do you see how that works? The next one I have listed here is wound of impurity. Wound of impurity. This is typical of victims of SA. Okay, sexual harm, sexual assault. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. This can contribute, so wound of impurity, right, being sexually harmed can contribute to someone becoming incredibly sexually prudish or asexual, right, just separating themselves from sexual experiences altogether, or hypersexual. You've seen it, I'm sure. Haven't you seen this? Haven't you seen this, you guys? If you know someone that's been sexually harmed, or if you've been sexually harmed, what are your typical behaviors like when it comes to your sexual relationships? Okay, welcome everyone, welcome everyone. The next one I have down is wound of physical danger. Have you been harmed? Have you been harmed by someone physically? This can cause people to become reckless, right? They might become addicted to adrenaline, right? Experiences like that. Just reckless in their behavior, right? Not paying attention to anything being dangerous, whatever, right? Or it can make you hyper aware, seeing danger where it's not actually present. Okay? Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much. Hello, Sam. Hello, GS5. Welcome. Welcome. Yellow Snowman, I believe it says. Welcome, everyone. Tyrone, thank you for joining today. We are talking about inner child wounding. Okay? Inner child wounding. Oh. Now, I'm getting requests here, but I need to continue. Let me finish talking first, okay? Let me continue talking first. Let me get all of these out here. The next one we have is, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. I've never heard anyone talk about this one before. And it's something that you are not going to be able to relate to if you are not already an awakened soul. This is a part of the awakening process that can be, thank you so much, Miss Virgo, I appreciate that. It changes quite often. Thank you so much. If you are not an awakened soul, you're not going to be able to relate to this. If you don't understand this concept, you're not going to really be able to understand, okay? This is a wound that I have coined as the wound of privacy invasion, okay, on a 3D end, right? The results can be the same. But on a higher spiritual end, it's also the wound of eye hijacking. Now, let's talk about it on the more mundane side of things. You have a shame wound. Yeah. Where does that shame stem from, honey? The shame is the emotion, Miss Virgo, not the wound. It is the symptom of the wound. What is it? I have shame listed down here. It's very common among wound of judgment. Wound of judgment. Okay. Shame typically stems from someone telling you that something you've done or how you've responded or how you've reacted or what's been done to you is shameful. It comes from that judgment, right? Right? That's why these are relational wounds. Relational wounds. Yes. Hi, Vance. We were talking about inner child wounds and how they relate to shadow work and ego work and the importance of, the church, right? Yeah, all of this why I ignore the religious comments in here because trust me, yes, I don't have my spiritual beliefs because I am not aware of theirs, right? I began there, right? I grew up in the church, but God walked me right on out and said, let me show you the real deal here. So here we are, generations of shame, but I think my grandmother is the culprit. Yeah, I'm sorry, honey. But that's why this work is important in understanding, mapping. This is mapping the psyche, okay? Enlightenment, know thyself, full self-mastery, full awareness of your own light, of your own darkness, okay? So understanding your own darkness requires us to understand what has hurt our light and how it's contributing to our behavior. I hope that makes sense for you guys. But let's get back to the wound of privacy invasion. Once someone has invaded your privacy, it can make you paranoid, can it not? You don't feel safe anymore. It can make you reactive, right? It can make you think everyone's out to get you, everyone's against you, okay? I am not married, Vance. I am not married. I have rings on all the fingers here. Yes. Yes. Ooh, she cooks for everyone, and that shame was transferred into the food. See, you said your grandmother, so it's that age bracket, my love. That tends to be very mean. I'm telling you, across race also, something about that generation of women, they didn't have their own freedom. They didn't have their own autonomy, right? That's why they heavily centered men, right? Because they had to be married to even have a bank account. Things like that, understanding that. Thank you for liking the live, Miss Virgo. Thank you guys so much for being here and listening to this. This is so important. Okay? Now, yes, single, but blames others for her singleness. Who, honey? Yeah, absolutely. Welcome. Thank you, Sleazy Drill, for following me. I appreciate this so much, you guys. Thank you for being here. But yes, so now the other side of that coin, when it comes to wound of privacy invasion or awareness hijacking, is once you start really tapping in spiritually and you start understanding humans as vessels for the all-seeing eye, right? Meaning, have you ever been, let me make it more easy to understand. Have you ever been in a situation, let's say, where you're going through something and you've been talking to God about it and you have some opinions, you're using your intuition, and then some random person comes up to you and says something that makes perfect sense in your situation? Or someone walks by and says something like a random phrase that completely makes sense for your situation and provides you the clarity you need? That is the flip side of that, right? So as you ascend higher spiritually and you gain higher awareness and you become more enlightened, you become more and more tapped into the reality that's everyone all the time, okay? You understand the power of the eye that sees all, knows all, feels all, governs all, and the connection it has to you, my loves. So I bring that up because there can be, when you receive this sort of a wound, it can come from that eye or it can come from a person, depending on the nature of what's happening and where you are in your awakening process. And it can be difficult to discern. Whether it's happening in the spiritual or in the physical. So it can be very uncomfortable. You can become very paranoid. But once you tap in and you really understand it, it can make you more leaning towards pronoia, as opposed to paranoia. Yeah. Hello. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Yes, you blame yourself. Are you talking about me being single? You have no knowledge of my personal life at all. So I have no, just because I'm not married, you have no idea what what's going on in my life, and how I relate in relationships. Absolutely. Thank you so much. When I was in a coma, I saw God or the devil. Okay. I argue they're the same being, right? Shadow side of one. I don't know how to regulate the shame. I'm frustrated. Yeah. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry to hear that. Hello, Karina. How you doing, honey? How are you doing? We're talking about inner child wounds here. So, yes, learning to be able to discern that, right? Having to, trying to find safety, feeling safe again, right, can be difficult. This is a very prominent wound among people with schizophrenia, right, or psychosis, okay? Spiritual psychosis or psychological psychosis, this is what I'm getting at. They can be two different things. One can be permanent, the other doesn't have to be. Drug-induced psychosis, but they all correlate with similar experience and can be very uncomfortable because you feel watched regardless. You feel watched, okay? So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Absolutely. It was a black figure holding onto my shoulder, just a little confused. Well, spiritual darkness is very real, right? Honey, I'm not mad. I just don't know why you're in my life right now. I really don't. I just, so I'm going to stop responding to you. Yes, so absolutely. Understanding that and regaining that peace, regaining that serenity. That's why when you're healing from any sort of trauma like that, safety is always going to have to be first. Finding safety. So you can't heal in the same place you got sick. So you're going to have to make some decisions and let go of certain relationships that are keeping you in a lower vibrational state, making you feel unsafe, making you feel imbalanced. Okay? It's important to pay attention to that. Now, the next wound we have is a wound of inadequacy. Insecurity. The moment you start feeling insecure in any given situation, wound of inadequacy is at work. Okay? It is not our natural state to be insecure. It is not our natural state to be afraid. This is all programming placed into us because we've been hurt in certain regards before, and our psyche is responding in a very specific manner. Okay? One side of this coin is you can develop very low self-esteem. You can also develop perfectionism. And both of these can be very uncomfortable internally because you are always going to be beating yourself up. Subconsciously, you're never going to feel good enough. It can keep you from pursuing things that could be great for you. It can just keep you beating yourself down even when you're doing a great job, right? It's very tricky. That's one of the most difficult internally as far as our inner thought process and negative self-talk, right? Welcome, Tiger. Welcome, Tiger. Hello, hello. When are in time where the seal has been broken, many demons are afoot. Well, didn't you hear about the portal just being opened, right? The portal just being opened, right? Many brilliant metaphysical minds, right? We're all on board. We're all understanding. Esoterically inclined, we all understand what's going on here, right? You can see it in the world. Portals have been opened, and an even greater number of dark forces are present than usual. It's the year is very 7 forward, the number of darkness, and that is the tail end, right? You have 2025, 2 and 5 total 7, but 2025 itself totals 9. We're talking about very 9 forward and very 7 forward this year. So you have to be able to let go of things. You have to be able to just pivot and redirect based on what's going on in this world. Don't hold on to anything. Okay, otherwise it'll be even more difficult energetically for all of us. Welcome, Donald. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Tiger. Hello, most powerful one, right back to you. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, so thank you guys so much for the hearts and the kind words. Pay attention to that. Yes, darkness is very real. Metaphysically speaking, you have to be protected. I'm going to repeat this through energy work, or highly powerful crystals, self-belief, awareness. I'm going to recommend everyone that I have an opportunity to recommend this to purchase a selenite skyscraper and put it in your home. and start seeing the people that are uncomfortable in there. And that is going to bring a lot of awareness to you about who you need to let go of in this during this year. Yes, yes. They can't come. And then you want to learn to talk to demons, they'll start talking to you. And they'll start expressing through this person's subconscious how uncomfortable they are around you and your home. I'm not making this up. It is very real, and it can be very scary to experience if you're not well versed metaphysically, spiritually speaking. Okay. Now, judgment, wound of judgment, being judged for being yourself. This is super important for the LGBTQ plus community to understand. I myself am a part of that community. Pansexual. It's very important. A selenite, what? Skyscraper. I'm talking a crystal bigger than my arm. Okay? Size matters when it comes to protection from crystals. Selenite is one of the highest vibrating crystals in existence, and you need it raw and you need it unmachined for it to have its full power. Okay? It will keep you quite protected. Okay? Absolutely. Yes, judgment. Being told that something's wrong with you when all you're doing is being yourself. You think that's a good feeling? You want to talk about shame and why there's so much shame in this world? Okay, Miss Virgo, if you're still here, where does that shame stem from in your grandmother? Right? Is it from something petty, like her not thinking she's beautiful enough because she was always called ugly and judged, right, for not having the right body type, right? It can be something that simple. It could be her husband telling her she's not good enough at keeping up the house, right? You see where I'm going with this? Right? Thank you. I know. I love wigs. I love them. So you're going to see me switching them up all the damn time. Ow! Don't get too attached. Don't get too attached to one, honey. Don't get too attached to one. Yeah, and shame is subjective, right? You give other people power over you. I don't. Why would I do that? You know what I mean? Why? It's weird. It's weird. That means that what you think of me is more important than what I think of me and how God gave me. That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. But it's very real. And when you are judged over and over and over again, we have trans people right now in this country. This is very important to understand. The shame, the other side of that coin, can make people very narcissistic, right? Shame, judgment, narcissism. We're talking about all of these. When you understand these wounds, you will understand cluster B better than any psychologist. You will be able to diagnose people very quickly. Hello. I don't know what you're talking about, Die Hard, honey. I don't understand. You can block yourself or you can just go away. I don't understand. People can be very weird here. I'm sorry. But the people that aren't, hello. Thank you so much. The next wound that is very common is the wound of rejection. Wound of rejection. When you watch, I was watching a movie today, actually. It was a Lifetime movie. And it was called Dead at 17, right? 17, that number there. A being navigating the realm of darkness, the realm of death, the realm of foes. And that was very much the storyline. Someone he thought was his friend, killed him because he had killed a stripper and then didn't want to get in trouble. And so the other one was feeling guilty and wanting to go to the cops and things like that. So he said, we got to get rid of him, right? So, but in the end, it had a good ending. He gave himself up and he went to prison and things like that. But the whole reason he killed the stripper was because she finished her dance and her hour, and he asked her to go upstairs with him, right? She said, I don't do that. I came here to do what I'm going to do. He didn't like that. Why? 257, my loves. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see how powerful the sequence is? If you understand the sequence, you understand all harmful human behavior and all dark reactions. It helps you understand reactivity in the human psyche. It helps you understand people's shadow, what releases the shadow. It's that ego that says, go get them. And then the shadow comes out in an attempt to protect the inner child, because the inner child is a direct light point for the shadow that is the shadow in the psyche. Do you see where I'm going with this? Thank you for the follow, Zombie. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God does not require you to buy a stone, love. You can also protect yourself by way of energy work. You have to understand the nature of this realm of reality. And you have to understand metaphysics. If you don't understand those concepts and the fact that there are invisible vultures and invisible forces that can attach themselves to you, that can hinder your growth, hinder your expansion, hinder your energy field. If you're lethargic and tired all the time, something's blocking your life force. And it's shock, panic, and trauma, okay? It is, you become a cesspool for invisible beings that want to siphon your energy and want to control and subjugate you from understanding your true power and your true self. When you're in your truest form, my love, you don't need a crystal. You don't. It's just an additional layer of protection for you. And there are so many people in this world that don't understand metaphysics. So what harm can it do to place a beautiful crystal in your home that can help you protect yourself during a very difficult year? It is a year of great darkness, especially for Americans, but worldwide, okay? Numerology, frequencies, numeric realities are planet-wide, okay? That is why. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. I'm speaking from experience. The minute I put that in my home, I had some very strange conversations with entities that were using a human as a vessel that had just endured a high level of trauma. So they were it's like an open body. Come and get me if you're not protected and you don't understand what I'm talking about. This is why I'm even teaching you guys about 257, the pathway of darkness and possession. It releases your own shadow. It also is the pathway that welcomes in a dark force to come in and control your energy. And if you don't want to listen to that and you'd rather go sit in church, you are more than welcome to do that. But a lot of these people going through these things that I speak to demons through are Christian. But they are not metaphysically trained and they don't have spiritual sight. And they want to judge those of us that are enlightened like me that can see it clear as day because God chose me to. So that's what I'm here teaching you about. Now, the next wound, but rejection, right? So let's actually get back. This can lead to fawning. You might be someone that is a people pleaser, right? Because you don't want to be rejected by anyone. You are so desperate to be welcomed and loved by everyone that, thank you so, I'm sorry, you're so pretty, it's distracting. I'm sorry, honey. Thank you so much. I am not a single mom. I don't have any children. I'm only 32 years old and I am living my best life right now. And I am flourishing and I'm connecting with so many people and I am perfecting my crafts and I am doing spiritual work and I am in touch with other beautiful spiritual minds. I have no negativity to give toward anyone that is not there yet because one day you will be. Okay? Thank you for the follow, Jimmy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Coconut Jake. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, rejection. This is so important. This is so important. When you watch movies, my loves, or let's say you find yourself in a relationship, whether it's a lover or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a they friend, if they are non-binary, let's say you break up with them. Let's say you start noticing red flags in their behavior and they were like super weird and like easily triggered, right? Maybe they exhibited symptoms of like narcissism or borderline personality disorder. So they were just super, super self-centered and super reactive. Very 257. You break up with them. and they key your car, they start threatening you, they show up at your job, and all of these things. 257. 257. You see someone in a movie being rejected, or it doesn't even have to be a movie. This happens in real life. Real life people being unalived because they reject someone. Why? Why is that? 257. Inner child wound, discomfort in the ego. Fuck that. I'm going to get you. 257. Shadow, ego, inner child. Relationship number. Number of discomfort. Number of darkness. Or you get rejected and you get broken up with. So you just hide in your house drinking all day. 257. 7 is also the number of addiction. Okay? The number of addiction. Stand in my backyard. It's a quartz crystal vein. So many stand on them. I feel them I love quartz crystals. I love them. They're expansive, right? They expand all of the energy that they surround. Welcome, welcome, Joey. Welcome. So, are you guys getting it? Are you guys seeing where I'm going with this? And how this is so important? Anytime you see a story in the news about someone unaliving someone, 257 is at work. 257 is at work. Okay? 257. The next one we're going to talk about is the wound of neglect. Wound of neglect. And there's a reason why this is so common among cluster Bs, people with narcissistic personality disorder. You talk to them about if you're lucky enough to have a vocally vulnerable, one that's actually willing to talk to you about their traumas, which I had the benefit of experiencing. They will tell you these things. They will tell you the stories of their childhood. They're not necessarily going to be aware. They're typically not aware of how much it's harmed them, and they typically will be emotionally invulnerable and brush it off. But if you're lucky enough to hear it, you can see that it has impacted them greatly, okay? When we talk about wound of neglect, being neglected in childhood, this can repeat in your relationships. You're going to find yourself attracting people that are emotionally unavailable, invulnerable, okay? And hot and cold. Hot and cold. When we talk about attachment style, right? Attachment style. It's another example of this. Anxious attachment, for example. Or any attachment style other than secure. 257. A relationship causing discomfort or anxiety or fear of some sort. With an avoidant, let's say it's the relationship and intimacy in general, because they have these underlying wounds of rejection, of neglect, of abandonment from childhood. They're not comfortable with intimacy because they've never had it. So they're going to continue to repeat a cycle, right? So, of chasing a feeling and then discarding. The minute 257 sets in. Oh, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable now. Go. That's 257 also. It is the basis of all oppositional behavior in human beings. Okay? Now, when we talk about neglect, it can also actually, on the flip side, make someone defenseless and just vulnerable and a doormat, essentially. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Welcome, Jessica. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Undead Wolf. Tiffany, welcome. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you so much. Now, abandonment. Abandonment wound. Very common. Very common. What is abandonment? It's a discard. It's a discard. Okay? Again, did you have an absent parent? Do you find yourself repeating cycles of relationships where you are love bombed and discarded? Or do you find yourself doing this to others? Two sides of the same coin. It's about what we attract, but it's also about what we do subconsciously. Okay? Absolutely. 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 Abandonment. It can make someone incredibly codependent out of fear of abandonment, right? or hyper independent and quick to discard other beings. Quick to discard other beings, right? Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for the gifts, the likes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. The degrees from life, honey. The degrees from life. The gift of awakening, the gift of enlightenment. Okay? So, and it's just so 3D, right? It's so 3D to think that someone needs a degree in something to have mastered it. It's very interesting. I don't have a degree in numerology, and I assure you, no one can touch me there. God-given gifts, my love. God-given gifts. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Now, trust. How many of you have had, in this one, trust goes hand in hand with betrayal. Betrayal. How many of you guys have been cheated on? Lied to? Or just betrayed by a friend, let's say? Family member? How many of you have experienced something like that? And every time you think about it, your mind starts reeling and you start to feel very uncomfortable again. 2, 5, 7. And then because of that discomfort, what do you typically try to do to rectify it? You might become mean. You might need a drink, right? Or if you're on the healthier side of things, you might have a glass of tea, right? You might go for a walk, okay? But it is 2, 5, 7, and it is based on how much you've mastered your own darkness as to what coping mechanisms, that you're going to implement, okay? Yes, absolutely. To not let anger get the best of me, absolutely. That is the key to mastering 257. It is absolutely the key to mastering 257. Tammy, welcome to like to react and to respond, right? It is creating moments of pause before responding to the discomfort from 257. It should become a thought process. This is why I'm teaching you guys about this. Self-mastery, mental mastery, mastery of thyself, which is the key to true enlightenment. You do not attain enlightenment before honing your shadow. If you're still walking around and your shadow's just running the show without you even realizing what's happening, you got a lot of work to do. But once you do the work, my loves, you're a powerhouse. No one can trigger you. You can get triggered by situations, but you'll stop, you'll map, okay, this is my wound of this is my wound of that, causing this discomfort. I'm not going to let it get the best of me. I'm not going to let it make me mean right now. I'm not going to let it make me go use drugs or alcohol to numb myself right now. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see where I'm going with this? Thank you, Divine Oracle. Thank you so much. Welcome. I love my soul family, right? I love my soul family far too much to let people that are here for no reason. I mean, here's the thing. In my free time, I don't go watch lives of people I don't resonate with. I don't spend my free time going and tracking down all the religious groups and their influencers and going and making weird comments to them. Right? But it's 257. That's causing this behavior in these people. Do you see how this works? Because guess what 2 is also the number of? The belief system and the worldview. What is a belief system? Religious perspective. So it's just, I love it because they just reaffirm everything I'm teaching you guys just so effortlessly, right? I'm not coming and teaching this willy-nilly. This is years of perfecting this. Okay, my loves? Okay, absolutely. Welcome, Larry. Thank you so much. Yes. Now, when we talk, let's talk about trust more, because this is vital. Trust can make you, or having your trust betrayed, you can lean into one direction and it can make you just more gullible and willing to accept. And it's not even a gullibility. I don't even want to really use that term. It's an outward gullibility, but it's just like a repression of your own intuition because you don't want to know the truth anymore. You're afraid of the truth now. Thank you so much, Coconut Jake. Thank you so much. I have full trust in my own divine wisdom. Thank you so much. My journey has been far too beautiful, far too powerful for me to let anyone interfere with that self-assuredness. Thank you so much for that. Pretty, thank you so much. Welcome to the live. Ethereal Beauty, Joe, welcome, welcome. Yes, so 9:24. Yeah. I know, I'm getting distracted. I was about to decode that, but let me finish this for the people that have been here. But it can also make you suspicious, right? So accusing people of doing. So have you ever been in a relationship where someone's always accusing you of things you've never done? Like you're accusing you of cheating and you're not, or vice versa. You're always accusing people of cheating when they're not, and it's because you've been betrayed before. Or you create a distance between connecting with new people, right? You're like, I don't really need friends. Why? Is it because you are just, superhuman and you can just be by yourself forever and not be sad ever? Hello, welcome, Johnny, welcome. Or is it because you don't want to be hurt again? So this goes back to what I mentioned in the very beginning of this live. The ego holds on to all of that crap. It can make you feel discomfort when it's inappropriate because it's trying to protect you from even the potential of experiencing that pain again. Do you understand? But that can be a problem. That can be a huge problem. That's why mastery over the subconscious mind is so important. And understanding 257 is key to being able to master your subconscious mind. Hello, welcome, Buddha monk. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the rose. I appreciate it. I mean, who else can relate to that? Being hurt by people, so you say fuck people. Constantly being disappointed or hurt in relationships, so you say I don't need a relationship and I don't want to date anymore. That is the result of a wound. That has nothing to do with the true desire of your soul. You understand? Hello, the bully. Welcome. You see how powerful understanding 257 is? Do you see how powerful 257 is? Another, I'm gonna add this in really quick. Another baseline of 257 is also health issues. Health issues. How many of you know someone that has a health problem? So I base a lot of these things. I used to be a substance use disorder counselor for several years. So I have been able to work with so many people and dissect so many minds and pay attention to so many people's behaviors. A lot of those people that continue to use substances, the baseline is relationship problems or health issues. Inner child wound, guilt over something they've done, which is 857. We'll talk about that another time. Leading to them wanting to numb that with substances. 257. Okay. This is so important to understand, you guys. Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Papa Bean, welcome. I have a real bad wound from my divorce in 92. It still hurts. What wound would that be, Roger? What wound? Did they break up with you? Is it rejection? Do you feel abandoned? Did they cheat on you and betray you? Or vice versa? Right? That relationship was meant to help you learn more about relationships and how you relate to others and learn more about what you actually need to be fulfilled in a relationship. That's what 92 is telling me. Okay? Absolutely. Yes. And if you want me to decode, you guys, maybe when things happened, the years things happened, how long you were with someone, how long it's been since something occurred. That's all numerology based, and we can do that. I also do lives just for numerology Q&As. Yeah. But for some, I do that and then people don't have questions. I'm just sitting and then they have questions. But like, I like to have a baseline, and I will open this up. We're almost done going through the wounds. We're almost done. Okay. And then I will open up the floor. Welcome, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. If you want to ask me, but I want to keep it on topic. I really do, about inner child woundings, your traumas, how you've been hurt, and how it's contributed to maybe manifesting the same things over and over and over and over again, okay? Your wound is serving as a magnet for experiences until you learn the lesson, until you change how you react to it, okay? Are you continuing to allow it? Do you keep letting that narcissist back in? And then you're wondering, why do I keep manifesting these things? Because you keep choosing them, my love. You keep choosing them, okay? But yet she already moved on. Will I wait here for someone that's never going to come back? My love, no. 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 Let her go. Okay? Let her go. And that's not easy. And I know it can be because you're experiencing wound of inadequacy. And every time you start feeling insecure and like you're not good enough, and why is this person good enough and not me? You are going to spiral mentally to 5. That's spiral. 7, right? What are you doing? Are you just sitting alone? Are you being mean to people? Are you being mean to yourself? Are you calling and lashing out? 2, 5, 7. Inadequacy, rejection, abandonment, insecurity, discomfort, anxiety, fear. That tightness in the chest, that anxiety where your mind is spiraling, you're stuck. It's like spiraling is the best way that I can use to describe it. We all know how that anxiety spiral feels. That is that 5 experience. That is ego. Okay? Okay? So anxiety in and of itself is 2, 5, 7. Okay? It's always related. Thank goodness you don't have a nose ring. Never get one. I used to have one. I got one in 5th grade, actually. I had it for a while. But it gets in the way. It's in the way. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so are you guys understanding? Are you understanding the power of this? And I always download and upload these lives if you missed the beginning and you want to understand all of the wounds I was discussing. I upload them to my YouTube channel, which is also the Numeric Oracle. I actually already have a video on this up there. I have my 257 video in completion as well as my 857 video in completion. Available on this platform, on Instagram, on YouTube, but I will upload this one again. Welcome, Lucky. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The next one we're going to talk about is humiliation. Humiliation. There's a reason why bullies tend to be bullies. And a lot of them have this wound. Right? What you have attracted, you also give out. That is the nature of the wound. Hello, hello, hello. And we have to really be welcoming of our own subconscious mind and our own emotional truth to be able to do this deep level work. Otherwise, you have to be able to admit things to yourself that are very uncomfortable when you are mastering your own mind. Yes. But a humiliation wound can make someone very proud, very overbearing. But it can also make someone too humble. I've seen that as well, right? I've seen that as well. Not wanting to stand up for yourself. You just don't want to be a target anymore. So you don't speak up. You don't ruffle feathers. Okay? Absolutely. Welcome, Derek. Thank you so much for joining us. Thunder, welcome. Thank you so much. My name is Demitra Douglas. I'm a master numerologist, inner work specialist, published author, and end-of-life doula for animals and their families. Yes, so I understand darkness very well. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for being here. Yes, so the last one is guilt. Guilt is a perfect ending to this list because it correlates with the 857 sequence. 857 is just as powerful of a pathway of darkness as 257. It's just a lot more succinct. It's very guilt-oriented. 257 is what has been done to us, or our own physical state, right, if it's health-related, versus 857, which is what we have done to others. Have you ever found yourself in a spiral, mentally overthinking, right? Feeling uncomfortable while overthinking about something you've done, a mistake you've made in the past? I had someone come up to me yesterday and just dump their 857 on me randomly. Someone I didn't know. I'm telling you guys, for real. And it can be something that happened many years ago. This woman was expressing guilt. It was the weirdest thing. She walked up to me and was crying. And she was talking to me about stealing a candy bar as a child and all the guilt she was carrying about that. 857. 857. Also, it can get darker, right? Knowing, thank you so much, Buddha. Well, knowing, right? There was someone someone that really stands out when I talk about 857. It's gonna be hard to hear. She made a mistake when she was very drunk, and her dogs ended up dying as a result. Both of her dogs, both of her daughter's dogs, her family dogs. So because of that, right, cycle of addiction continued. Because I get sober, I have to think about it again. Then I get sober and I'm speaking to you as my counselor and I'm telling you that this is the big trauma that's standing out and contributing to my behavior. So when I talk to you guys about the pathways of darkness and the pathways of addiction, I have studied it for years. I have paid close attention. I have listened intently with precision for years. Okay? Absolutely. Do you guys experience, is there any moments you have where you start thinking about a mistake you made in the past that you wish you could rectify? That makes you feel incredibly uncomfortable? A mistake you've made that can send you into a spiral? Or something someone's done to you? It makes you feel very, very uncomfortable and a lot of pain that sends you into a spiral as well. Okay, this is 257. Yes, Buddha, right? If anyone says no, they're not paying close attention enough to their emotions and their mind, their thought processes and their behaviors. Okay, that just means they have several more steps to go. Yes, it is a waste of your energy and it is a waste of resources, right? But this is why mapping is key, and mapping has to happen first. Okay, I can't combat something I don't understand. Right? I can't rectify something I don't understand. I can't understand my emotions if I don't know what's causing them. Okay? Absolutely. And it is. And these are energy leaks. When we get into the metaphysics of it, energy leaks. This is metaphysical, my loves. This is metaphysical. Okay? Don't be leaking your energy all over the place and then wonder why you're tired all the time. Okay? Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for liking the live. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. My name is Demitra Douglas. Thank you for joining me today. Yes. So, when it comes to guilt, it can make you incredibly passive, right? It's almost like a state of, oh, I've done bad things. I've made mistakes before. I you know what I mean? I don't deserve to, I don't want to do it again. I don't deserve. It's almost like a state of undeserving that you place yourself in. Incorrectly, right? Thank you so much. The goat, Big Willie, the goat. Hello. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the gratitude. I'm grateful for you to be here. Thank you. It can make you passive like that, right? But it can also make you domineering. Can make people very domineering, right? It's like two shadows. And this is why it's important to understand your shadows. Because I just listed two sides of the spectrum as far as what a wound can do to behavior. And we were saying, well, those are opposite behaviors. Exactly. That is exactly right. If you don't understand opposites, the law of opposites, the law of duality, then you don't understand the concept of the shadow, right? You don't understand the concept of the shadow. We have the inner child, which is the polarity point. Sorry, I have to prove I'm still here, guys. I have to drag this puzzle piece. There we go. The shadow, shadow, which is the polarity. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Law of opposites. Yes, yes. We have the inner child, 2, which is the polarity point of shadow 7. Okay. Let me give you an illustration here. Well, whatever it is, I'm going to give you a little representation. If, let's say you have a rejection wound from childhood. Talked about this yesterday. This is just a great example. This is important to understand when you're talking about narcissists. Why they discard people all the damn time. Yes, it is. There are many layers to that behavior, but this is a key component of it. On a subconscious shadow work level. If you have a wound of rejection from childhood, a parent wasn't present, or God forbid you raised yourself because they literally left you in a home without running water, without food, alone to fend for yourself. I know several people that have endured that, and it shows in their behavior. Your shadow is a direct polarity point of that wound. It is a direct result of that wound. So when you want to understand your shadow honestly, you need to understand it's exactly what it doesn't possess good traits. So think of it almost like, when you're going to make bread, right? A starter, right? And let's say your inner child wounds are what's being fed to this creature, this dark force. If you let that dark force free, what is it doing to others? If it's holding rejection, if it's holding neglect, if it's holding trust issues and abandonment issues, and it's been humiliated and it feels guilty, do you see where I'm going with this? What is it going to be doing to other people? Welcome, Dee. Thank you so much for joining. What is it going to be doing to other people? Rejecting them. Neglecting them on a subconscious level. People that haven't done shadow work, have not done inner work, have not mapped their psyche, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know on a conscious level that this is what they're doing. Okay? These are incredibly deeply unconscious people. Okay? When you get into the level of narcissists that are fully conscious of their behavior, right? The ultras, right? That's a very different conversation. I'm talking about, but they still carry the wounds, right? They still carry the wounds. They probably haven't mapped them. Or they've mapped them and don't care to correct the behavior. Okay? That is the secret there. Okay? Not aware of the source of their actions. Exactly, Thunder. Okay? Welcome, welcome. Vitruvius, welcome to the live, honey. Thank you so much for joining me today. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you guys see where the shadow? So every person it touches, the shadow subconsciously it's just vengeful. It wants, I've been rejected. I'm going to reject you too. Do you see where I'm going with this? Okay. So in a moment of inadequacy, a moment they start to feel insecure, which is a huge problem for narcissists and shame-based, right? Oh, shadow, let the shadow loose, right? When you see that mask fall, that's what's happening. 257, when the mask slips. Okay, welcome. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, so, yeah. So, coconut Jake thing. Just ignore him, honey. Ignore him. I know. I notice that you're very thorough. I appreciate that. I think it's important to be thorough. Right? My 12th house is Virgo. I'm mapping. I'm detail oriented. I need everything answered or I'm not able to align with the thought process or the theory, right? Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that's what the shadow is going to be doing. It's what your shadow does. It might not be as severe okay? But if you pay close enough attention, right? How about, let's say someone says something to you and makes you feel insecure. So you kind of say something snarky back. That's a very subtle expression of 257, right? Inadequacy, discomfort. Shadow says, Do you see where I'm going with that? And the shadow's purpose is to protect you, okay? It doesn't have positive traits, but think of it as the warrior that's the warrior of your mind that lives to try to prevent further harm by way of harming others, okay? Now we have that, the polarity point. We have shadow being the polarity point of the inner child. We have the ego, which is the 5. Now there's a part of the psyche I haven't mentioned. And the reason I haven't mentioned it is because it's not something that requires work. It's something that just is. Okay? It's something that just is. Now, can you change? It tends to change naturally based on the work you do on these components that actually hold harm and are a part of the harm process. Persona. Persona is the polarity point of the ego. Okay? This is why the programming that the ego holds tends to contribute to the presentation of the persona. Okay. So, for example, you had a mother, you grew up, and your parents told you needed to dress modest, told you not to wear too much makeup. So your natural presentation, your persona, your outward expression, that first layer of you is just what it is. Okay? Yes. So finding a balance, yes, right? My persona is this, right? I'm gregarious, I'm very giggly, right? I'm very high vibrational. Yeah. And that becomes, everything is in balance, right? So this is just a natural expression of who I am, right? In my most powerful form, okay? So the persona tends to just align naturally, okay? It's not something you need to be worried about. It's just a part of the process. It's just the mask that holds it all together, okay? And you can choose for that mask to look however you want it to look, okay? Absolutely. Now, do you guys have any questions about 257? Do you have any questions about this? Yes. When you let it flow, puzzle pieces, puzzle pieces together beautifully. Yeah, absolutely. Psych 717, welcome. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Yes. Dualistic Fox, thank you for joining us. Yes, absolutely. I just realized that the subconscious is not the unconscious. Can you clarify on that? I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about this. I do. Because that's a polarity point, Thunder. Isn't it? Because subconscious is what? What is sub? Under. What is the polarity point? That is a polarity point. Okay? It's a tricky question. It is. Because the subconscious you can tap into in a certain respect. That's what we're doing when we do any form of inner work. It is looking at the subconscious. Okay? It is intentionally placing things in there. Okay? I would say the unconscious is more tapped into governances that we're not necessarily in control of, or it's a complete, like when we talk about the collective unconscious, it is a collective place that holds energetic and influence and governance that can relate and connect to all beings. Okay? The subconscious, I would argue, is more personal, right? It's more personal, based on our own experiences, what is lying underneath our own experiences and our own psyche, right? Because you can fully make the subconscious conscious, can't you? Isn't that what we're talking about right now? That is the whole point of me teaching you this, right? But it's you get to a point spiritually where you recognize it and you work with it and you see it and you listen, even listening to things you'll say, and you'll have moments of like, oh, Interesting. Like strange admissions, right? Have you ever experienced that, right? Strange admissions or, right? But when it comes to the unconscious, right? Dreams, other people, right? Understanding collective myth, right? When we talk about depth psychology, right? Myth, I don't study Jung, but we have a similar eye because through my awakening and my enlightenment process, I very much gained entry into the realm of 8. And that is the realm that holds all of these concepts, all of these archetypal, all of these archonic, all of these spiritual, gods, goddesses, governances, right? And the influence they hold karmically in this matrix. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Ignore him, honey. Ignore him. Ignore him. It's okay. It's okay. Never doubt the power of planting a seed. He's still here for a reason, isn't he? Or she, right? All right. So that is exactly what we're talking about. Okay, that we'll talk about more when we get into 857 because 8 is also that I just said it governs that realm. Okay, so a lot of times I'm going to give you a tidbit here. A lot of time the things we hold on to and regret so deeply and allow to keep us in a cycle of self-harm are things that were written. We had absolutely no already ordained and we were merely vessels playing it out. I recently learned something very hard for me to hear. Now, my best friend was murdered in 2021 by her fiance because she was breaking up with him. 257. Rejection, abandonment, inadequacy, causing discomfort leading to literally murderous behavior, which is the darkest side of 7. Okay? So, I work closely with a very beautiful master metaphysician and master vibrational healer. Thank you for your condolences. I appreciate that. Named Jeffrey Wilson. So Jeffrey's program is incredibly detailed, incredibly thorough, and literally wipes out all of this karmic crap that keeps us stuck in loops of dysfunction and unhealth, okay? When it comes to what he told me on one of our calls, my jaw dropped. I understand karma. I understand past life karma. I understand karmic loops and repetition, leaning into opposite action in order to make a different decision, react to a situation differently. That's how you can break through that past life karma and end karmic cycles. So I know these things. I teach these things. I've written about these things. I understand them very well. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. And he told me, we have repeated this dynamic 8 times already. This was the 8th time that I had to endure this. And the protocol he actually implemented on me that day was called incomplete grief. And boy, did that hit a nerve. Because I had repressed, right? Trying to be strong, right? Trying to be strong. And you repress. Here's the point. I have ideas, but I never do them because I've been told my ideas are ridiculous. Don't you dare listen to people that tell you that. Vitruvius, you have 4 7s in your name. That means you understand darkness very well. Okay? You understand wounding. You've been wounded many times in this life, and you understand it. Okay? Let's take one of those 7s out. 777. That is a number that is a badge of honor earned by the greatest spiritual teachers because they understand the dark. Okay? You have no right to teach anyone anything spiritually if you do not understand the dark. That's why I'm teaching you guys about it today. Okay? Don't be afraid to teach you. Don't be afraid to teach others through you, I should say, because of what you know. And if anyone has a problem with it, that's the first layer. The first layer of gaining a right to become who you truly are meant to be by weeding through all of these oppositional energies. And that is the nature of 7. When your purpose is imbued with 7 energy and you are going to be someone that is going to help guide others through this darkness that this world carries, if you can't get through that first layer of saying fuck you to people that try to stop that, then you're not ready. Okay? Okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, so when he told me, so he cleared that MO from my energetic field. He cleared that agreement from repeating. But hearing that I had to go through that 8 times, that forget me, this beautiful light of a so long that would have done anything for anyone. Light of so long that would have done anything for anyone. To be killed so viciously 8 times by men who didn't even deserve her love at all. Okay. So these are, and what number did I say? 8. The number of the past life. The number of karma as it relates to actions and reactions. As opposed to 5, which is karma that is internal or external discomfort, restriction of thought or circumstance. It's more personal. 8 is more interpersonal. Okay? They're censoring your live, Miss Lady. Uh-oh. What does that mean? It means you can't hear me anymore? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Yes. Thank you so much. Welcome. Yes. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. You can still hear me? I'm going to keep going. Yes, I know I'm shadow banned. It's something I accept. Okay? Because I'm not going to change. I'm not going to teach about mundane crap that I don't care about. For views, and that's not going to happen. The people that are meant to hear me will hear me. Point blank. Absolutely. Thank you, Uncle Ray. Thank you so much. I know I'm dropping gems. I know. And and I'm going to continue being that. And I talked about this yesterday, and this is something that's very important for spiritual. So I'm sorry, I don't want to say your name right. I mean, wrong. I want to say your name right. I almost said Vesuvius. I don't think it's not Mount Vesuvius. It's Vitruvius. This is important. Spiritual truth tellers, enlightened ones, chosen ones, awakened ones. Do not stop speaking your truth because you feel like no one's listening. Now, with that being said, accepting that the mainstream is never really going to be behind us in our message, because it is it's able to do the exact opposite of what this matrix wants for humanity. If what I teach and preach can guide beings toward freedom, when their goal is subjugation and imprisonment, do you think I'm going to be supported? Do you think that if I'm teaching awareness and they desire beings that are sheep and unconscious and very much asleep, do you think my message is going to be supported? Okay. So what I do, right, if I can guide you out of the matrix, right, if I can get you to a point of ascension to where you fully master your own mind, and then I can recommend Jeffrey Wilson to clear away all of those energetic issues through vibrational healing, to completely correct your energetic field, to completely remove past life agreements and emotional energetic hindrances that are getting in the way that you can't really see. That's more unconscious, like we were talking about, Thunder, right? unconscious, right? It's over for them. It's over for them, right? It's over. So I'm okay being shadow banned because it just means I'm the best. It just means I'm too cool for school, guys. And that's okay. And that's okay. But my point being, we got to just turn to our own backyard, right? We got to turn to our own backyard. And leaning into a business, right? My end of life doula business for animals and their families. That is a spiritual business, but it very much allows me to help 13 frequency beings. If you are aware of my content, 13 frequency is status quo energy state. Most people, the people you describe as sheep or regular or unawakened or sleeping, that is 13 frequency. It is just the standard. They just accept things as they're fed them. They're just very physically oriented. They're not spiritually oriented. Okay? But they love their animals. And I'm able to help them in a spiritual manner. And because of that, I can turn to my backyard and I can connect with people, right? And the people that are interested in numerology, the people that are interested in deeper spiritual concepts, which is fewer and far between because of the nature of ascension, I'm able to connect. We have to hit the pavement, is what I'm saying. Don't rely on social media this year. This year is a year of censorship. Okay? 257. Okay? Relational opposition, relational discomfort, right? Like telling people you can't marry this person, you can't do this. It's all censorship, right? If you speak against this person, you're sent like, so we must turn to our own backyard. Okay? Okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm on frequency. So I'm opening it up, okay, if you guys have more questions. I'm on frequency 9. How do I go up 4 levels? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? 4 is the number of awareness, right? Are you trying to ascend higher? Is that what you mean? Because 9 is the number of mastery, so what exactly do you mean by that question? Yes. Yes, hate speech. Yes. Yeah, but hate speech versus truth, like it's just so, you know what I mean? It's so, I don't even want to get into politics. I'm tired of that. Tired of that conversation. It's just focusing on the spiritual, focusing on each other, focusing on connecting with people that share a similar perspective, right? Or appreciative of a message because they can resonate, they can relate. If we focus on the spiritual, this year will be so much easier, my loves. So much easier. Okay? Hi, Sean. How you doing? How you doing? I'm vibrating on a different frequency than most and see what others can't. I've gotten used to it. Yes. Yes. Telling you. You got to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. And it can be sad and it can be uncomfortable. But it's what recognize it as a gift. Right? Right? There's a term in metaphysics called balancer, where just by you exuding a higher frequency and vibrational state, you heal the world. Heal the world. You don't even have to be engaging in spiritual business. You don't even have to be teaching any sort of modality. Just by you being who you are in this world, you are bettering this world. And I mean by the millions. It is a ripple effect. Just as darkness has a ripple effect, 257, right? Harm, how relationships have the ability to cause harm in a ripple effect manner. So does light. So does love. Okay? So does being heart-centered and choosing to connect with someone. Okay? If you're busy, instead of saying, I'm busy right now, think, pause, and say, what's up? And take a moment to connect with someone, right? Absolutely. Welcome. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. By being you, you teach the whole world, right? Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. And the higher you are on the scale of enlightenment, right, which begins at 700, by the way, frequency-wise, 17 frequency in accordance with my system, what is 7? So what's required of you? Gaining introduction to, balancing, integrating your own darkness, right? Welcome everyone. Thank you so much. I give witch vibes. Hey. Right. I don't practice, but I'm definitely a natural born witch for sure. You can't create something like this and not be tapped in. Yeah. And understanding magic and my own power. That makes me a witch, sure. Right? Yeah. I'll take that title. How you guys doing? Ooh. Sorry. Ooh. Sorry. Hold on. Battery. So I'll have to be ending the live soon, but let me go back to you, Buddha, because I did see you. 3373. We can explore this in a few ways. Okay, the total is 16. That tells me a lot. So this can be related to your own personal life, but it can also be related to your purpose. Okay? 33 is a co-creative number, meaning manifesting with another on a daily basis. This can be someone that is a human, or if you're like me, right? I was born at 1233, so I very much carry this frequency. It could be something unseen, right? A more godlike energy, okay? So with that being said, when we pair it with 73 is a number that indicates that the number of darkness, the number of opposition, the number of wounding, the number of addiction, the number of disease, the number of the hell realm, but also the number of transformation. Because remember, transformation occurs in the darkness. It does not occur in the light. Ask a butterfly, okay? Ask yourself, what were the situations in your life that changed you the most? It wasn't the easy ones, was it? But that means that number is what's governing your manifestations. It's what's pulling in your manifestations. You may find yourself repeating patterns or having things come into your life that are just not what you want. You might be trying to create something, manifest something, and it doesn't work out. It doesn't pan out. You meet dead ends, right? 73, it's almost like I envision a tree without leaves or fruit. It's just like it's a season of scarcity, I would say, can be the feeling you can get from this frequency. It's like I put my heart into things and they just don't work out. So there's some resistance there, but a lot of it is related to trauma, right? And it contributes to trauma and it causes trauma that you experience. So anytime I see 16, it shows me that you've been through a lot. It shows me that you've been hurt a lot in this lifetime, and you're carrying a lot of wounding that you might not be aware of, okay? But it's a gift. Okay? Because if you can turn it around and you can pay attention to what sorts of things are hindering you, maybe you're choosing the wrong people. Maybe you're choosing the wrong experiences. Maybe these experiences are more comfortable. So you're meeting a dead harvest because it's not what you're supposed to actually be doing. It's not actually in alignment with your soul. There are many different ways to look at this energy. But you could also be choosing the wrong people to maybe be in a relationship with or live with or build businesses with. So because of that, it's not panning out. These can very, very much be foes from a past life, right? And you continue letting them into your field, into your space, right? And because of that, you continue experiencing harm. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. There we go. I just ignore people that have nothing positive to say. It just, thank you for showing me your pain. Thank you for showing me how your own wounding causes you to deal with others and to speak with others. But it has absolutely nothing to do with me. Speak with others, but it has absolutely nothing to do with me. You go do yours. Yes, that's where I'm at. Yeah, Buddha. Absolutely. So, with that being said, how are you going to choose differently? How are you going to choose differently? If we're talking about romantic relationships, what is the repeating MO? What is the similar underlying energies of these people? Right? You don't deserve to be wounded over and over and over again. And allowing those kinds of people into your life, that's all that's going to come of it. Okay? I was born on 7/3. And I was born at 12:33. So I'm speaking from very, very much personal experience. Thank you so much for the compliment, Sean. Thank you. Thank you. I completely understand that. And it doesn't have to be forever, right? You can make it, you can choose for it to be a season. But what is the term I just used? You have to choose for it to be a season. Okay? Absolutely. Empathy is very important in love. It is vital in love. It is vital in love, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Dualistic fox. So are you saying, I think I saw that you're not a witch, you're a healer. What makes you think you can't be both? Haven't you ever heard of a white witch? Someone who uses their power and their understanding of magic and manifestation and the eye for good? Yes, a choice to make. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate that, Big Daddy 3K. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Oh, no, honey. No, dualistic. I don't take offense by any. I know who I am far too well. I know who I am. I know people that have a problem with witches in general. I know where they stand energetically and spiritually as well, right? So they're typically 13 frequency beings, okay? Or in the early stages of 14. They have not yet hit 17, where they're going to have to actually start looking into darkness, gaining acquaintance with darkness before they can attain the enlightenment that they think they already possess. Okay? The pathway is through hell. I don't fear it. I just don't. Dark forces know better than to try and mess with me. Okay? They do not like me. Okay? They don't. Just because I wear dark makeup, it's my aesthetic and I love it. But it doesn't mean I dabble. Yeah. Because people have called me it before, so I understand the good and bad. Yeah, absolutely. I went on a witch walk on Halloween. Hundreds of women from where I'm from walked together, all dressed in full garb. Okay? Absolutely. It's nothing to be ashamed of, right? I'm not afraid of that death energy either, love. I'm a death doula for animals. Yes, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, yes. Well, my loves, my phone is about to die. Cece, thank you for joining us. I'm actually going to get going. I'm going to upload this live to, yes. Well, bad witches, it just means you're using your power, you're relying on your power sources. I think it has a lot to do with what our power sources are also, right? If you are dabbling with the dark forces and your power sources are demonic, okay, versus your power sources is simply source itself, right? I don't align with subjugation. I don't align with deity. I don't support the concept of little g's. I have no altar. I do not place anything. I do not worship anything above myself. I walk in full spiritual sovereignty, okay? So, and that's vital. If you don't understand your power, my loves, we're already starting off on the wrong foot. You are all so powerful, and all this world has tried to do is get you to forget it. If we had people walking around in their full sovereignty on this planet, in their full power, you can do anything you want to do. Anything you want to do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay? Absolutely. Thank you for the follow, Boone. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much. I do not draw my magic from the Holy Spirit. That is subjugation. That actually requires a very extensive energetic protocol to correct, right? That is subjugation. That is religious indoctrination, okay? Absolutely. Your power comes from you and your own direct channel to the source and creator of all that is. Anytime you place anything, any concept, any deity, any demon, and I'll mention it in this live, but I've mentioned it in all the lives prior and in videos I just uploaded. Demons and deity, little g's, anything that is not the creator of all that is, that you place above yourself, causes subjugation and removes your own spiritual sovereignty. You are placing an entity above you. And guess what those entities are actually capable of doing, metaphysically speaking? Capping off your astral chakra, right above the point where it connects to source itself. Can cause lethargy, a lack of energy flow, a lack of clarity. It intrudes with the flow of your chakra system. It can make your heart numb. Okay? And it dims the light slowly over time because you're no longer connected to that true light and energy source. It interferes with your manifestations. Okay? Because when we attempt to manifest, we are going through that channel, okay? From the heart chakra up that channel to the source of all that is. And if you're capped off by a demon or little g deity, it is not reaching where it needs to go. So if you have an altar or you worship deity and you are wondering why you can't manifest in your life what you want, pay attention to that subjugation. Pay attention to that mental thought process of you putting something above yourself. I'm just saying. Yes, sir, you don't have to be here in the live. You don't have to listen to me. Thank you for sharing your pain with me and showing me that you in your free time listen to people you don't have anything in common with. That shows me where you are spiritually. It has nothing to do with me, my love. Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. You would be surprised. Deities don't ask to be worshipped. You would be surprised. Yes, but what is that? It is a result of humanity's own forgetfulness as it relates to our own spiritual sovereignty. All of these created stories, right? Because we had forgotten our own power. Okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you'd be surprised because the minute, if you are heavily into a deity worship and you cut off that connection with them and you start stepping into your own sovereignty, pay real close attention to the ongoings around you. Pay real close attention to what videos pop up on your feed. Pay real close attention to the different animal omens you experience around you. They do have a problem with losing subjugation over you. All right, my loves. Thank you so much for your time. This full live will be uploaded onto YouTube. Thank you so much. Take care.